a cage. Lock yourself in.
No one wants to talk about population, but it's important. It's really important. If 8 billion people do a 200-gram poo, that is 1.6 million tonnes of poo. That's a pile of poo about the size of one of the Great Pyramids of Giza. Now, sweeties, I have no way of knowing how often you visit the loo or the size of your deposit, but I do know that on average, we, collectively, humanity, deposit a pyramid-sized pile of poo on the face of Earth every day we live and breathe and deposit a pyramid-sized pile of poo. Size matters. From little things, big things grow. And if 8 billion people do a little thing, that's a big thing. That's the problem with population. So, my challenge for you today, sweeties, is if population is so important, why won't we talk about it? One of the things that got me locked up in this concrete dungeon was spending 15 years in a political party. That's a yarn for another day. The relevance to this line of argument is that any time anyone mentioned population, the debate quickly shifted to how much room there is in the concrete bunker. Deng Xiaoping's public execution of Hu Jintao last week has nothing on the New South Wales Greens. Now, to be fair, the topic is no more popular in non-government organisations, international climate forums, or the World Health Organization. No one wants to talk about population. It's because we're talking about life and death. We're talking about people. If there are too many people, then it's only a short step to discussing how we get rid of some, who to sacrifice, and who wields the sacrificial blade. It's a messy conversation. Luckily, all we have to do is let people get rich. Rich countries who don't have many children have to stop stealing stuff from poor countries, which is the only reason they're poor, because as soon as people have money, they stop breeding and start importing labour. Why would you stop going out and having fun to stay home, change nappies and clean up vomit if you can get someone else to do the dirty work? And that's the rub. That's why politicians love babies, not just because it makes them look good. This is Australian Treasurer Peter Costello. He said, have one for mum, one for dad, and one for the country. The US is busily removing all human rights for women except the right to breed. China just got rid of its infamous one-child policy. What the Fraser? An ageing population means higher wages and more expensive goods, and that's bad for trade. Immigration is the standard solution, but it's expensive. You have to keep building infrastructure, and they send lots of money back home. Slavery works much better, but it's still out of fashion. People love sex, and babies are cute, so that's where the politicians head. There is, of course, the Hancock approach.
The ones that are no good to themselves and can't accept things, the half-caste, and this is where most of the trouble comes, I would dope the water up so that they were sterile and would breed themselves out in future, and that would solve the problem.
Simple. Poison the people you don't like, and that would solve the problem. It's even easier these days. Just forget to do something about climate change and watch the great food bowls of the world dry up or go underwater, and the world population will drop by about 6 billion people. Carbon dioxide will do the work for us, and we can pretend it wasn't deliberate. So, sweet ears, we need to talk about population before it becomes a catastrophe. First, we need to stop stealing other people's stuff and let them get rich like us. Which brings me to my second point, which is about consumption. Of course, the jailer is upon us and I have to run, but just remember, it's population times consumption that leads to impact. So both figures have to be pointing down, if you get my drift. In the meantime, if you can't be good, be careful. Take precaution.